shout out to Tokyo Treat and Sakura for sponsoring this video. Hello everyone, in this week's video, I'm making a pause art challenge. For the past while, I've been seeing people make these things called pause challenges. Basically, it's a short video that cycles through a lot of different character options, and you pause to see which option you got. You then draw a character based off the different options you got. And well, I thought it might be fun to make my own. So let's get started. First, I'm sketching out the character base. I'm going to draw this in proportions that I use for my chibi elf style, where they are a little bit chibi, but also kind of like my standard characters. It's kind of a mid-ground. I went with this since it's easier to fit into a smaller space. Once I got the base model sketched out, I sketched over it to add different body types. The second option is a more full-figured model. Also, I'm keeping these bases pretty gender neutral since I'm going to allow the viewer to pick the gender themselves. The third option is an athletic body type, so the muscles will be a little bit more defined. It was kind of interesting trying to make the chibi model look muscular. It's not something I do very often. After the body types, I wanted to add options for heights, being average, tall, and short. I kind of just played around with the base model and adjusted the proportions accordingly. After sketching the different body options, I went in with line art. For all of the future drawing, I won't be doing any sketching. I'll be going straight in with line art. I did this to save time, and since I was okay with things being a little bit derpy, I didn't feel the need to sketch things out beforehand. This doesn't need to look like a masterpiece or anything. They're just kind of simple little doodles. Another reason I thought it'd be fun to make a pause challenge is because recently I've been wanting to make a P-Crew or Pick-Crew. It's a thing that lets you make a character or icon creator, but it seemed kind of intimidating and very time consuming. So when I thought to make this, it seemed like a nice, less intimidating option. It's kind of a way to make a character, but you get to draw the result yourself. Next was drawing all the eyes. I wanted the different eyes to kind of show different personalities. So first we have the basic round, happy kind of eye shape. Next is what I like to call the Brayson eye shape, since I draw Brayson with these eyes all the time. We have a kind of sweet or soft looking eyes. Like I said, I'm trying to keep all of the options pretty gender neutral, but I wanted to add eyelashes to these ones. But you can add eyelashes or not eyelashes to any of the options. And not that boys don't have eyelashes, it's just when you add them to characters, they often come off as more girly, kind of depending on how you draw them. But yeah, you can add or get rid of eyelashes if you want to. I also added an eye patch option, but I'm going to move this to the other category later. That way you can use the eye patch with any eye shape. Next was eye colors, and I just made some colored ovals and went in with all the colors of the rainbow and more. I also added black, brown, and some 2-color options for fun. I kind of wondered if I should have added more 2-color options, but I didn't want them to dominate the color options for the eyes, so I only added a few. And now we are on to the hair. I'm starting with shorter hairstyles and kind of working my way to longer styles. My hand kind of kept naturally adding options that were similar to my characters since I draw them so much. It's just kind of in my muscle memory and it kind of just came out. Kind of like with the body, I wanted to keep the hairstyles fairly gender neutral, but some of them do get a bit more girly. But yeah, I basically just added a whole bunch of different hairstyle options ranging from more straight to short to long to curly. And I will change some of them later, and I'll get into that later when it matters. Anyways, like I did with the eyes, I need to add hair color options. I go through a lot of colors and try to remember to add a more natural red hair color, as well as a lighter brown. My sister Reagan always gets left out a lot when it comes to character creators because they only add dark brown and not light brown, so I made sure to add that. Next is skin colors, because I just remembered now I need to add those. I basically just worked my way down this palette over here and also made some darker tones as well as some fantasy colors just for fun. Oh, I also added a vitiligo option, although I now kind of wish I would have put this in the other category so that it could be applied to more of the skin tones. But it's a little bit too late for that now. I didn't think of that until later. Now for the fun and very time-consuming part, the outfit options. I wanted to try to include a good range of different clothes that fit different aesthetics. The first one is kind of a cute and preppy outfit with an oversized sweatshirt, shorts, and tennis shoes with knee-high socks. For the second outfit, I wanted it to feel kind of chic or classy. It's a turtleneck with dress pants and dress shoes. Third, we have a casual option of a hoodie with pants and no shoes, kind of like a comfy outfit. Oh, and I added headphones. But I just realized that the headphones won't really work for some of the animal ear options I add later. So if you get a character with animal ears, maybe just put the headphones around their neck, or maybe give them earbuds, or find a way to make the music part work with the animal ears. Sorry about that. I didn't think about that till now. I was trying to make sure all the different options kind of work together, but I just realized that one kind of didn't. So sorry about that. So I wanted to add skirts to some of the outfits, but like I said, I'm trying to keep things pretty gender neutral. However, I decided for some of the outfits to give the option of skirt or pants, and it's split down the middle. That way the viewer can choose which one they want. I also added this with the fancy outfit options. I drew a dress on one side and a tux on the other. It didn't really feel like I was working on this for hours since I kept moving from one option to the next, but it did take me like 5 hours to finish drawing all these options. So yeah, I just kind of kept adding different options that I thought of, like a grunge outfit. I ended up adding kind of a farmer outfit and a cozy outfit. And at this point, I wanted to add some hats to some of the outfits. I didn't at first because some of the hairstyles I added didn't really work with hats, like the pigtails. However, I decided that I would just get rid of the hairstyles that didn't really work with hats and replace them with styles that do. Also for the animal ears, you can kind of just add holes to the hats to make the ears work. Next was adding a bunch of different color combos. I kind of just made different color schemes on the spot and hoped that they looked decent. We're getting close to the end here. I wanted to add options like freckles, scars, birthmarks, and for a lot of these I add a note that you can put these wherever you want. I also add things like a robot arm and elf ears, but I end up moving these to the species category. Speaking of which, that's what I'm adding now. I added different animal options like wolf, cat, and bunny. I also moved the cyborg option to here, as well as like the fairy wings and elf ears. I thought about adding mermaid, but I felt like you need to change the outfit options too much, so I didn't add that. Lastly was cleanup. I had to go to each option and fill it in with white so that we don't see the base underneath it. I had to do this for the hair options as well as for the clothes. And after all that, we are now done drawing all the different options. Yay! A part of me feels like I could have added even more, but I think this will do for now. To be able to make the video of the options cycling through very fast, I first had to export all of the different options. This was a long and tedious task, but thankfully I got it done faster than I anticipated. Then I brought the different options into my editing program and made each one appear for 0.02 of a second. And it cycles through the options for 3 seconds before going to the next one. Now this may just be a me thing, but I always wish there was a timer to show when the video will switch to the next option. So I added one to mine. That way the viewer doesn't feel rushed to click or pause because they know when it's going to change to the next option. Because sometimes when I do the pause challenges, I'll just pause because I don't really know when it's going to change. So I'll pause like right away instead of kind of giving it time to cycle through the options. I added this timer by making a long rectangle that slides across the screen, so it was pretty simple to add. And now that my pause art challenge is done, I'm going to attempt it. Also, you can't see me doing this, but I blocked the middle part of my screen for myself. That way, what I got was truly random, and I couldn't anticipate what option was going to come. For body type, I got the full figured one. This character is short. They are a human with dark skin. They have this eye shape, green eyes, the hairstyle with curly low buns, light purple hair. They are wearing this outfit that has this color scheme, and they have a scar. So now I have a character to draw, but before we jump into drawing them, I want to thank Tokyo Treat and Sakura for sponsoring this video. Tokyo Treat and Sakura want to share Japanese culture and invite everyone to experience Japan from the comfort of their own homes through their snack boxes. Spring has arrived in Japan, and with it comes the much-anticipated cherry blossom viewing season, known as Hanami. Experience the enchanting beauty of Japan Sakura season with Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co.'s special Sakura box. This month's boxes feature a beautifully designed Sakura-themed box filled with a lot of Sakura-inspired snacks and teas. Each box has a booklet where you can learn more about the snacks, as well as allergen information. The booklets also contain tons of information about Japanese culture. Let's take a closer look at Tokyo Treat with the theme of Sakura Snacktastic. We will find snacks like Spring Cracker, Sakura Castella Cake, Sakura Shortbread Cookie, Sakura Mini Cookies, and many more. Two of my personal favorite snacks from this box are the Sakura Shortbread Cookie and Pie No Mi Mini Pies Pear Tart. I was so excited to see this cookie. I love the buttery shortbread cookie and Sakura cream filling. They are such a lovely combo. These cute little treats are shaped like mini pies. The crust is so flaky and the white chocolate pear filling is really lovely. Next is Sakura Co. with the theme of Beauty of Sakura. We get snacks like Sakura Mochi, Sakura Biscuits, Sakura Dorayaki, Sakura Donut, Sakura Candy, and many more. All pair perfectly with the sweet Sakura tea. And I love this month's tableware item. It is a Neko Sakura dish. The design is adorable. Two of my personal favorite snacks from this are the Sakura Arare Tetra and Anko Castella Cake. These charming arare are crafted from premium Japanese rice using traditional techniques. They have a lovely crunch and mild flavor. This Castella cake is super soft and is filled with a sweet bean paste made from the finest Hokkaido red beans. It was super yummy. If you're interested in getting these boxes for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, you can use my code DRAWMANGA to get $5 off your first box. Thank you so much again to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into drawing. So as a refresher, here are all the different character traits I got. And when I got all these, I was actually quite excited since I felt like these options would push me outside my comfort zone. Since the outfit this character is wearing is very summery, I wanted to go for summer vibes. And for the pose, I'm going to have the character be kind of taking off the sunglasses, and she has her other hand on her hip. We are also slightly looking down at the character. I thought that maybe this could give the idea that she is short, but height is kind of hard to gauge if you don't have another character to compare them to. Before jumping into this drawing, I did make sure to find a good amount of reference pictures of females with full figures. And also for the hairstyle that I will be drawing, I didn't want to jump in and just draw based off of my own memory or understanding. I wanted to try to get things as accurate as I could. And drawing the different body type was a lot of fun. I tried to make sure that the belly looks soft and more round. I feel like it kind of looks like my tummy. When drawing the hands, I'm going to try to keep them smaller since the character is short. And I'm also going to try to make them be more round to kind of fit the rest of the proportions. When drawing the arms and legs, I'm making sure to look at my reference to make sure I'm shaping them correctly and adding volume where needed. I hope I'm wording all this okay. When describing drawing bodies, I don't want to sound rude or make people upset, so I'm trying my best. But after my rough sketch was done, it is time for the cleanup sketch. For the face shape, I tried to make it more round and also a bit longer, since when you add weight to the face, you get more cheek and more area to the lower part of the face. For the hair, I plan to have it kind of slick back into the buns, and I'll also have tiny hairs coming off of the hairline. I was a bit nervous to render this hairstyle. I don't usually have issue when I'm using darker colors, but I knew I'd be using a very light color, so I wasn't sure how I was going to go about doing that. But I decided to not worry about it too much until I got to that part. I sometimes get comments from people that sound like they are assuming I can't draw different body types because I don't get to use them super often in my art. But over all the years I've been drawing, I have studied different body types. They do push me a bit, and I'm definitely more confident with drawing the kind of default body type that I draw. However, that doesn't mean I'm unable to draw other body types. I just don't get to draw them as often because if I'm making like fan art or drawing your OCs, a lot of times they don't have like super varying body types. And I made a lot of my characters when I was young, and I didn't think about including different body types. However, for my future works, I hope to be better about that. But drawing different body types is something I definitely want to try to practice more so that it's something that can come more naturally to me. Also, right now, I'm working on the line art. I switched over to my camera footage just to change things up a bit. So working on the art for this video was a bit of a challenge because I think I may have slightly injured or irritated my shoulder. And honestly, I'm not even totally sure what I did. I was just sitting in a chair in my office waiting for something to load on my PC, and I kind of just slightly moved my shoulder or adjusted how I was sitting, and then I had a really bad nerve pain go from the back of my shoulder and shoot all the way down my arm to my hand. It really hurt and lasted for probably about 30 seconds, and after that all of my muscles felt kind of tight and were kind of spasming, and my bicep was really sore and still kind of is. That happened a few days ago, and my shoulder and arm still feel kind of off. My shoulder kind of clicks sometimes when I move it. Thankfully the pain has been going down and not getting worse, but I can only draw for short periods of time because it starts to hurt if I draw for too long or if I use it too much. So yeah, I was going to draw another character for this video, but decided that I could only get one done, and I made sure to pace myself and take my time. If my arm started to hurt, I wouldn't push it. But after the line art was done, I started the coloring process. I filled in the base colors with the colors I got. I did maybe cheat a little bit and made the sunglasses be yellow, even though that wasn't a color I got. I just kind of wanted to make the sunglasses pop. Plus, I think of the challenge as more of a way to get inspired, and I try not to let it restrict me too much or get too caught up in the rules, so to speak. So my plan for the lighting is that it's coming from above and a little bit to the right and front of the character. I wanted the lighting to look warm and summery, so I'm using warm colors for the shading. Also, I do want to apologize to the people who read my webcomic. It might be even longer until a new chapter is posted because I had been working on my wedding video and that took a lot of time and I needed to get it done on time. So I had to not work on my webcomic while I was working on that video. And so that got me behind schedule by a week or two. But also, since I've now kind of irritated my shoulder, I've been not pushing myself to work on my webcomic. And I was hoping to possibly post a new chapter this month. I am close to being about halfway done with the chapter. So if my arm starts to feel better, I might be able to post it towards the end of this month. However, I feel like it will most likely be pushed into April. So I'm really sorry about that. I know I ended the last chapter on kind of a cliffhanger. I mean, all of the chapters are kind of on a cliffhanger. But the last one had a pretty big cliffhanger, and I'm really excited to post the next chapter because it's a big one and a lot of stuff happens, and I really want to share it with all of you. But I also don't want to push my arm and possibly make it worse. I'm actually kind of annoyed about my arm hurting because it's the same pain that I had, maybe 4 years ago or so, or maybe 2 or 3. I don't know, I can't quite remember. It was a very persistent pain that lasted a lot of months, and this feels just like that pain. So I feel like I re-irritated the same nerve or muscle, and I'm not sure how to make it unirritated or what to do. I don't know, maybe I need to go see a doctor or a therapist or something. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But I might be trying to take it easy for the next few weeks. So if I'm making easier art pieces or maybe not as much art in a video, that's why. Anyways, now I'm going on to rendering the hair. Like I said, I was kind of nervous to shade this hair since I often don't render this kind of hairstyle with having it have a lighter color. I had started by drawing just a bunch of lines to kind of show the way the hair is flowing, but I wasn't really liking that, so I decided to instead go into adding all of the little hairs that I wanted to add around the hairline. It was actually a lot of fun adding these. I kind of just drew a bunch of swoopy little lines. I also added some of the skin color into the hairline and kind of made it look like there were gaps in between the hair to make it look a little bit more natural. I did all of this on a layer above all my other layers, so I kind of just painted this in. Then I went back and tried to add more lines to the hair again. This time I felt like I had maybe a better understanding of how the hair was kind of flowing, and having the little gaps in the hair kind of helped. So I kind of just went around and added a bunch of lines, but I actually kind of ended up getting rid of these a little bit. But they do also kind of stay, but we don't really see them. I felt like the lines weren't adding the right kind of texture that I wanted. Since the hair is very curly, it has more of a texture to it. And so I used the same brush that I used for the buns, but this time I made it super tiny so this texture is just kind of seeable, but it's not really making large curl shapes. I apply all of this with a lighter color to kind of give some highlight to the hair, but I didn't want to make the hair look too shiny since a lot of times really curly hair doesn't bounce back like the same way straight hair does. So it doesn't look as shiny a lot of times. So I was trying to make the highlights look a bit more soft. I then also did the same thing with the shadows. So I went over all those lines I drew with a darker color with that same textured brush. And in a little bit, I even go in and blur the texture a little bit just to make it less seeable. I don't want it to look like a bunch of tiny curls. I kind of just want it to look like soft texture. Also, I didn't like that the outline for the hair was super flat and smooth. It made the hair just feel really unnatural. So I decided to go around the hair and re-add line art. This time I'm making it a little bit more bumpy and I'm making it follow the rendering that I added so that it kind of bumps out where it makes sense and goes in and shows a little bit more of the texture of the hair. For the buns, I wanted to make them look like they were a little bit more drawn by me. So I added a little bit more line art and also tried to render in some more curls. I hopefully make it look less like a bunch of curly texture and a little bit more like drawn hair. I'm not totally sure if I succeeded, but I feel like I'm pleased with how it turned out. We are getting close to being done. I'm going to be shading the eye and also the sunglasses. Also, I'm really happy with how the pause challenge short turned out. And if you want to use it for yourself, I'll put a link to the unlisted video in the description and pinned comment. I do plan to post the video publicly in a few days, but I don't want to spoil the video, so I'm waiting to post it publicly. However, for those of you who want to use it right away, you can use the links. And I thought it might be fun to make a hashtag so that you can share the character you make with this challenge. So if you want to share the character that you draw, use the hashtag L2DM_pause. That way me and other people can see the characters you create. Oh, also, so this character was winking, but after looking at the face, I kind of decided I didn't like the winking. So I decided to paint a new eye over the face with layers above all my other layers. This was a little bit tricky because I was just kind of trying to draw in the eye at the last minute and trying to make it fit in. But I tried my best to select the same colors and try to get the proportions the same. I kept going back and forth on whether or not I should do this, but I'm really glad I did because I do feel like I like this a little bit more. Also, there were some details I forgot to add that you won't see here, but you'll see them in the final result because I just remembered to add them. Anyways, here's my finished picture of the character I got from my pause challenge. I feel like she's really unique and I had a lot of fun drawing her. I hope you all have a lot of fun using this, and I really look forward to seeing characters that you all create. Please remember to use the hashtag so I can see them. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to do. Before we end, I want to thank my super awesome YouTube members and Patreon patrons for their support. It means so much to me. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!